He didn't like it, did he, that I was in front of him? Oh ho ho! There you go. Right, Mr. Batman. So what's the setup? Insta360 One X2 with a wireless DJI mic. That's giving the 360, that's what will be facing towards me for the most of it. And facing forward, we've got the Osmo Action 3 with a Rode Lavelle mic. I've actually got a Rode Lavelle mic attached to the DJI wireless mic as well, because if you saw the video from Wednesday, I lost the wireless mic. It fell from my collar here, so now it's in my pocket. And what am I riding? So I'm on the Kingston 16X electric unicycle. I was on the Carbu Mantis King GT scooter the other day. Right, let's have a look. Let's get in front of this guy here. This guy in the van. Oh, so much room there. Let me see if I can scoot all the way around here. Here we go. So beautiful. Oh, bit of speed wobbles there. Maybe I need to pump the PSI up in the tyres. Might be a little bit low. Let's see. Feeling a little bit unstable. Definitely got to be the PSI. Should have checked them. So much to check before you set off when you've got all this wireless system and all these See this woman here, she runs every day. We've got this little kind of, you know, nodding, waving thing going on. Mutual appreciation about what we both do. Whoa! Fucking wobbling all over the place. I've got to check this tyre pressure. It's not bad. I'll check it on the way back, but I think it needs to go up a little bit. Okay. So, Portwood Roundabout is Stockport, home of Rebels on Roundabouts. If you want to check out rebelsonroundabouts.com, guys, check that out. Have a look what they do. They saw through the bullshit right from the beginning, back in March 2020, when the globalists came for us and told us that there was a deadly pandemic that's going to wipe out all humanity. They saw through that bullshit. They knew there was another agenda going on. Oh, this is unfortunate timing. There we go. So, those guys got out, made some boards, stood on a roundabout, and tried to wake the public up to what they believed was going on. Now, have a look on the website, rebelsonroundabouts.com. Check it out. Have a look at the signs and see if you believe what they believe or not. But it turned into a truly global movement. There were videos made, drones in the air, you know, showing them on the roundabout. And they made videos, and people picked it up all across the country. And indeed all across the world. New Zealand were doing it. That's how far it stretched with the yellow boards along their roads. And yeah, they became part of the wider freedom movement. Because if you don't know, there is an agenda to take away, to control us and take away our freedoms. I truly believe that. Fucking hell, I'm wobbling all over here. You don't have to believe that. If you want, you can live in blissful ignorance. That is your prerogative. Oh, let's go down here. You know? But when you're awake and when you see it, there's just no turning back. So you don't have to believe me, but what we always say is just do your own research. But the best thing that I believe anybody can do is switch off your television, because all it does is propagate fear and division. We're all living together on this planet and they want us divided. The powers that be can't handle everyday people coming together and saying, hang on a minute, I don't think they're looking out for our best interests. I mean, what did they do over the past 3 years? They divided us, divided families, divided friends, old people dying alone in care homes, people dying alone in hospitals, because they told us there was this killer virus that was going to wipe us all out. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a COVID denier, I'm not saying there wasn't a virus. But right at the beginning, people like myself and others, and those guys, Rebels on Roundabouts, they were saying that this virus was a gain-of-function research virus. Basically, that's a biologically enhanced in a laboratory. So it would be maybe more contagious, more transmissible, maybe more deadly. And it was leaked, I believe, from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And if you were to say that back in 2020, you as a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Now it's almost accepted as truth. And then that virus was used massively by the pharmaceutical industry, big pharma, okay, to make billions and billions of pounds in profits, and also jumped on by governments and private corporations to impose massive restrictions on our liberties and freedoms, our inalienable rights. We came before government, people came before government, and we have rights that they can't take away. But they did, and people rolled over. People rolled over. They saw how people were easily coerced when they were put in fear. And I can understand people being in fear, because the whole of the media were on board. But if you stopped and looked around you and said, where was the pandemic? Where was it? It was on your TV screens, and it was on the radio, and it was in the newspapers, but it was nowhere else. Okay? So people did die, yes. But people die all the time of flu and other viruses and diseases, and it turns out the infection to fatality rate was no more than the flu. So you say, where did the spike in deaths come from? Okay, the spike in deaths, I believe, come from, in the UK, the hospital protocols. So if anybody wants to look up NG163, which was the protocols which the doctors and nurses put COVID patients on. It also happened in the care homes. And protocol NG163 put respiratory patients on. I'm standing here because we're right next to this 5G control tower, and I'm going to talk about that maybe in another video, because I'm nearly at my destination now. But NG163 protocol was to put COVID patients on morphine and midazolam, very high doses. Now you can still find this on the internet. A lot of them that you'll find, these protocols have been redacted because they don't want people knowing about it. But Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary of the UK at the time, ordered 3 years supply of midazolam, and that got used up in 12 months. Okay, midazolam, for those that don't know, is used in America to kill prisoners who've been sentenced to death on death row. They inject them with high doses of midazolam. Okay, so midazolam was used alongside morphine as a protocol on COVID patients in hospitals, and also they were put on ventilators. And I believe, in fact, you know, it has been shown by people a lot cleverer than me that that is what